hearing my husband. I'm like, what are you doing up there?
I'm hearing my son running back and forth.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's okay. It's okay. He'll sleep in.
Yeah, right? Does he actually, though?
No.
No one warns you about the time where they need a nap, but they don't want to take a nap, but they're tired. They're way overtired. And they're like trying to fall asleep at like 5, 6 o'clock. And you're like, nope.
No. Stay up.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alec gets the crazies when he's tired. Like he's throwing things. Instead of just being like, I sleep, he's just like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, it's time for him to go to bed. Like it's too much.
In today's episode, I'm joined by Nicolette, who is a mama friend I met through Instagram. She and her husband have 2 kids, ages 11 and almost 2. If you missed the last episode, definitely make sure to go back and listen to it. We went through her I had no idea moments throughout pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. And today, we're going to be picking up right where we left off and going through her I had no idea moments throughout parenthood so far. Next week, we'll be going through her parenting experiences both before and after suffering birth trauma and PTSD. We'll also catch up with her on how things are going for her at home and now being back at work. So we're going to dive right in and get started. All right, welcome back, Nicolette.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We're going to just dive right in, straight in today.
Let's do it.
Yes. I'm excited for this one to hear your parenting part. So let's just talk about parenting in general. What has been the hardest or most surprising part for you throughout parenting? Which is a very loaded question, I know. But
I think the most surprising and hardest is just how different it is from kid to kid.
Yes.
Regardless that I had a very large age gap between my children, it still, I thought would be easier, and it's not at all. That was really a big like surprise and a big wake up call too, that like I couldn't parent my son the way I had parented my daughter. Like we needed to do things differently, which was like, well, what are we supposed to do? Like, this is what we've been doing for 11 years and it's been working, like, what are we supposed to do now? So it really felt like being a new parent all over again when we had Alec.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges or like differences, I guess, that you've noticed between the two?
So she was like so independent, and he's independent too, but in a different way. She could sit and play for hours by herself, and she self-entertained from a very young age. I would forget she's in the room with me sometimes. Very calm, very just empathetic and aware and like wise beyond her years, even when she was like a baby. And Alec is a tiny terrorist who will do anything he can to get hurt and jump off of things and look for the most dangerous thing he's not supposed to do and do it. He's independent because he likes to do things by himself, but he doesn't like to be alone when he does them. So I literally like have to pay his babysitter so that I can clean, because I can't do it while he's in the house, which is something that I could do no problem. Fold some laundry next to Mina, no big deal. I can't fold laundry next to Alec. I fold it and he takes it and throws it on the floor. Like I'm like, kid, give me a break, please. He takes a lot of my energy. He's a high energy kid who probably wouldn't mind being homeless because he likes being outside and kicks and screams when he has to come inside. He always wants to be outside. Mina loved the outdoors and she still does, but it was like, okay, time to come in. No problem. Allie's like, the temper tantrum. Mina, maybe she had one temper tantrum her whole life.
Oh, wow.
Like every hour, about something, and it's wild because they're so different. And like I said, I was like, oh, second baby's going to be just the same.
Yeah.
Mina was so calm, and he's not calm.
Yeah.
He's very sweet, but like the way he'll show love sometimes is like smacking me in the face, and like, yeah, I love you too, kid. Kicking me in the stomach, something like that. Just completely like boy, so different. That boy energy is so intense. And I even think like potty trainings, like I said, Serge, you have the penis. He's got a penis.
Yeah.
You're going to do it.
You're up.
I'm not even, and then too, because he just touches it all the time. As soon as his diaper comes off, he's like pulling it. And I'm like, doesn't that hurt? Don't you feel that? Like Mina, didn't have appendages like that to pull. She didn't. He just like knows he has it, you know, so he's always like trying to get at it. And I'm like, leave it alone.
Those are the things that I don't know. Having girls, it's so funny. Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
changing a poopy diaper way easier on a boy than it is on a girl.
That's what I've
way
heard.
easier because you know, girls got a lot of crevices and stuff, and boys just got their testicles, and you're like, clean, wipe, done. But like, I call it his super soaker. I'm like, we gotta put that thing away because he's always like.
And then I heard you have to tuck it down. With
or something. Yeah, you just,
with a diaper or something.
Yeah. Well,
so
some
it doesn't
people,
shoot out.
Yeah, some people, you know, they put like a wipe over while they're cleaning the body. I live a risque life, so I don't do that. It's just it's out there, and I just move really quickly.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's
so funny.
Boys are funny, but it's a rough and tough kind of love with him. You know, he's like, throw me into the wall. I love it. You know, like he like
laugh it off.
Yeah, he like bangs his head against the wall. I'm like, please stop. And like, I think there's something wrong with him. And then like my coworker was like, sent me a video of her son banging his head against the wall, and I was like, she's like, it's boys, and I'm like, oh my god, it's. And then he'll come over and he'll hug me and kiss me, and I'm like, oh, you're so sweet.
Aw. So what are some of the challenges that you have with having like large age gaps? Are there challenges with that?
Yeah, I feel like the first year of Alex's life, I was that mom that you see that you're like, train wreck, you know, because I'm like always late and like a mess and looking like I just rolled out of bed because it was hard. It was just hard all around. And I didn't even really know who I was at that point. Mm-hmm. Like, who am I now? I had to like find my identity again, which was hard. I feel like there are things that I can't do with the kids together because Alec is just like, he can't sit for extended periods of time. So like if my daughter has a play or something, or she has her concerts, I can't bring him with us because he will scream and want to run all over the place, you know? So that's like challenging. And I feel like Alec takes up so much of my time that I don't spend as much time with Mina anymore. And I like miss her and I miss hanging out with her. And she, you know, she's kind of at this age where she's like very happy to be in her room on FaceTime with her friends and like doing whatever with her friends. But there are times where she wants to spend time with me and I'm like, can this wait until Alec goes to sleep? Or, you know, like it can't be just me, her, and Serge doing something because Alec will see that we're doing that and he's coming over and he's tearing it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's no fault to Alec. He is a toddler, you know, and I just don't know how she feels about it or if she understands. And he's so mean to her.
Oh, really?
She loves him so much and he's so mean to her. And she's like, I just want to give you a hug. And he's like, yeah, and like screaming. But sometimes he's really nice to her, you know? And so that's hard because I thought it would be like, oh my God, they'd be like best buds, you know, because she's so much older. And he's like, all the time at her. And I'm like, she just looked at you. Like, what is going on? I thought like when they're closer in age that they have that like thing, you know, but it doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh.
She just loves him so much. And I think she loves him so much. It's too much for him, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, just please, I'm like a cat. I'll give you love when I feel like it. Yeah. It's hard dividing your time between a toddler and a preteen. So we really have to be like, okay, I'll take Alec and you go do this with Mina, or I'll go do this with Mina, but take Alec, you know? And then we feel bad because we're like, damn, I miss Alec or I miss Mina. And you know, but she's just getting to that age now where I think she's going to do more things with me because she's like a girly girl and she, you know, music, and we go to concerts together and arts and crafts and stuff like that. And Serge recently expressed how sad he is that they don't spend enough time together and that he feels like she doesn't want to. And I'm like, it's just the stage that she's in, you know, and she's our only daughter and he is seeing that she's getting older and eventually she's not going to be in the house anymore, you know, and it's just like, it happens so fast. So like, there's so many challenging aspects because then we have Alec and it's like, oh, but we have the baby, but it's not Mina, you know, we had Mina by herself for so long.
Yeah,
So it's been an adjustment. The adjustment from 1 to 2 is hard, period, regardless of age.
for sure.
But for some reason, I felt like it was especially harder because of the age gap, which was so strange. I thought it would be easier. And she helps out. She really does help out as much as she can, or he'll let her.
Yeah.
um, but it's more of like a parenting guilt that I don't have her alone anyway. She doesn't have only me. She doesn't get all of my attention, and I don't know if there's any better way to do it than the way we're doing it. And if other parents feel guilty when they, have to, say, hold on 1 second, I'm doing this with your sibling. It always kind of hurts me a little bit. I'm like, Mina, please just, I'm going to do that with you. Just wait until I finish this with Alec, or I can't do that right now because look at what's
Yeah.
happening. Look at it,
Right.
but sometimes she sees that I'm struggling, and I mean, she was right smack in the middle of everything that happened.
Yeah.
She went through that too. She
Mm-hmm.
has her own trauma from it, like,
For sure.
she sees me, like, sometimes I'm like, okay, Alec, let's go do this. And he's like running away from me and doing this. And I just go, and she'll like go and she'll grab him and she'll bring us to, like, I don't even have to say anything. Like I said, she's super empathetic and wise beyond her years. So she steps in when she sees me getting overwhelmed, and I'm like, thank you, Mina, and I always try to make up for it by like, like, you're the best and all those things. But
So what's your most rewarding part of parenting?
well, I think like parenting in general, like, just this is the life that you created, and I do things differently from how I was raised.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the whole thing with parenting, right? Like, you take the things that you liked from your childhood and you didn't like, and then you make it into something
Yeah.
that's yours. So really finding who I was as a parent was like super rewarding, because I was, not to toot my own horn, think I'm a pretty awesome parent. And I love it, So I think watching like the fruits of my labor grow and
Yeah.
seeing the type of person like my daughter is becoming, like, that's partly because of me and the things that like I instilled in her. Like, that's so rewarding.
Yeah.
And then to have 2 of them and seeing like the love, my heart could like just like explode. You know what I mean? Like, when,
Yeah.
so Alec can't say Mina, he says Nina.
Oh.
So he'll be like, Nina, Nina. And when his face lights up when he sees her, and it's just like, oh, yes. Like, at some point, like, the gap is so big right now, but eventually they're going to get older and it's not going to matter. Like, my older sister is like my best friend and soulmate, and she's 8 years older than me, and you wouldn't know. We hang out, she throws parties. She has her friends. They're like my friends. Like, it doesn't matter that gap is there. So eventually that's going to be Alec and Mina, and they're going to have each other. And I just like, can't wait to see that too. You know what I mean? And I was like, so you can't help but be proud when you watch your kids do things, and
oh my
just
gosh,
like,
yeah.
I think that's what's so rewarding about parenting, like watching your kids accomplish these things and then be proud of themselves doing it too. And you're already so proud of them. Like, amazing.
Yes. Oh. Right. All right. So what is something that having a child has taught you, like, about yourself or?
So, and again, 2 completely different experiences.
Yeah.
With Mina, I felt like a woman for the first time. I felt like just like a girl, like a kid, like, until I had her. And then I just really fell into my womanhood and like my sexuality too. I felt very empowered after I had Mina. So that was something that I found that I didn't have prior. I always felt like she doesn't realize it, but she like made me who I am while I'm helping create who she is. But she really made me who I am, because it was like, this is the type
100%.
of person I want to be for my daughter.
Yes.
So there were certain things that I stopped doing in front of her because I noticed she was picking them up. Like, I was looking at my stomach when she was like a baby, like 2. I'd look at my stomach, and then she would pick up her shirt and like look at her something, like, ooh, I got to be careful, because I can't sit here and tell her like, you're beautiful, and then go in the mirror and say something about myself when she looks like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she really taught me how to love myself. And then with Alec, it was very different.
Mm-hmm.
I am in the process of learning to re-love myself. It's a journey. Um, I I guess I could say like, oh, I'm resilient or whatever because I went through the thing, and it sucks because I always feel like there's so many negative things that I discovered about myself when I had Alec, but I think all of those negative things are because of the experience, and unfortunately, they altered me and changed me in ways that I didn't even know a person could be changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that version of myself. So having him and that experience was very humbling because it has literally broke me down to like the bare minimum of who I was as a person. And now I'm rebuilding myself. And again, it's him for why I'm doing it, because I don't want him to grow up and think that I hate him or blame him for anything that happened, because I don't. I
Right.
love him so much. I just have a lot of guilt and a lot of things that I carry because of what happened. And I'm trying, I'm learning myself again. So I hope that one day I could be or find the love that I had for myself, you know, after I had Mina. But I will say, I guess what I learned about myself is like just how empathetic I could be for people's situations now.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize I had this like fierce advocate inside of me
Mm-hmm.
for other women, and the passion behind women's health that has came to the forefront because of this. So I'm happy about that because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm empowering other women,
That's
and
awesome.
and we need to be we need to support each other.
Oh, yeah. Big
Mm-hmm.
time. Hearing my husband, I'm like, what are you doing up there?
I'm hearing my son running back and forth.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's okay. It's okay. He'll
Like,
sleep in. He'll sleep in.
yeah, right? Does he actually, though?
No.
Or,
No.
no.
Mina would sleep. That's another thing, the sleep. So he has no problems going to sleep. She had problems falling asleep, but once she felt, and like, because she, I always called her like a puppy. She just always wanted to be around us, like all the time. Like it didn't
Yeah.
matter what we were doing. As long as she was there, she was happy, you know? She never had that like exhaustion, like temper tantrum. She would just, her first birthday, she stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning. She was just, you know, after a certain point, it's not about the kids, it's about the parents. And we were drinking, and she was just like sitting, opening her presents, like in the corner, playing with toys, not crying, eating,
Oh my
just
gosh.
wild. I'm like, she's a party animal. And then she would sleep until noon, you know, like she was a
Yeah.
sleeper, and she still is. She's a sleeper. She stays up late and she's a sleeper. Alec, the first 11 months of his life was
Oh,
rough. He
gosh.
was a horrible sleeper. And I was like, I have to sleep train him, which is crazy because I don't like this like train sleep thing. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. But we needed to because we were
You
exhausted.
need sleep. Yeah.
And it worked. You know, I didn't do that cried out method, whatever. I just changed a couple things I was doing, and then it just worked. And you know, Mina, we co-slept with Mina, breastfeeding, co-sleeping. So
Yeah.
because waking up every 2 hours and like physically getting up out of it was exhausting.
Oh my
So
gosh.
like we started to co-sleep, and we co-slept with her for a long time. And people have whatever they want to say about co-sleeping. I don't care. That's your business. It worked for me and my family,
Yeah.
and that's all that matters. And I loved it. I loved sleeping next to her. What's the problem with her sleeping with? You know what I mean? If it didn't bother us, why does it bother you? You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't co-sleep, and I still am like all for it. You know?
Yeah. It's just
whatever you want
to do.
Yeah.
Do it safely, but do it. It's your life. It's your family.
Yes.
Alec tried to co-sleep with him, and he was like, I'm not that kid. I don't like co-sleeping. As a matter of fact, I don't even like sleeping in the same room as you. And it hurt.
Yeah.
You know, but once I moved him out of the room, he started sleeping through the night, and I was like, so you mean to tell me that was all I had to do?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, he's fine with the sleeping now, but it's got to be one person. He can't sleep in between two people. He sleeps and he's like a clock. He just rotates. Like,
yeah.
you know, and he's a good sleeper now. He doesn't wake up at night. Hardly ever, rarely he'll wake up. But he will wake up at 7:30 in the morning no matter what.
Oh my gosh.
No matter what time he goes to sleep. And I'm like,
why?
He is a morning person, and we, the three of us, are not morning people.
Oh my gosh, that would be
and
hard.
He is a morning person. So I'm like, you know what, Alec? Thank you for making me into a morning person. I love it. I love it so much. When are you going for a nap? Because I'm coming.
Yeah, right.
We're going to nap together.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, the nap battles.
Mm. He likes his nap. I'm just like, get your passy, get your lovey. And he's like, tick, 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 tick.
Oh, I do not have that experience. My kids are like,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's nap time. Let's run away and hide.
Well, Mina stopped napping at 6 months old. So that was
like completely?
Like completely. To just fight me and scream. And I said, whatever. If you're tired, you'll fall asleep. Gosh. You'll fall asleep. And she never did.
That's so hard. She had FOMO, it sounds like.
Probably. She did. She totally did. But like not a big deal because she was doing her own thing.
But she was happy-go-lucky FOMO.
Yeah. Like if he stops napping, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do when he stops napping. Because he is like high intensity, high energy, 24/7, even in his sleep. So.
Yeah. And you know, no one warns you about the time where like they need a nap, but they don't want to take a nap, but they're tired. They're way overtired. And you're like, well, you should have gone to sleep. And they're like trying to fall asleep at like 5, 6 o'clock. And you're like, nope.
No. Stay up.
No. Yeah. Yep. It's like, why didn't you just sleep when you had the chance?
Because I wasn't tired. No,
I wasn't tired then.
Alec gets like the crazies when he's tired. Like I'm like, okay, it's time for him to go to bed because he's throwing things. He's like, wah! Like instead of just being like, I sleep. He's just like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, it's time for him to go to bed. Like it's too much.
All right. So resources in parenting. What are your go-tos?
Again, like Mina, it was family, like my mom, my sister, you know, and then just figuring it out on my own. And then thankfully, social media is such a bigger presence in our lives now, 11 years later. So certain things like I joined like a sleep training group when I was trying to figure out how to sleep train Alec. Eating was very different for both of them too. So I started following a lot of baby-led weaning pages on Instagram because he did not like being fed and he didn't like purees either.
Yeah.
Psychotic. So he was eating like full-blown food with no teeth at 7 months, but it worked for us. But for Mina, it was completely different. So things like that. I definitely, those birth trauma pages that I followed helped me a lot with my parenting, the way I was feeling with Alec. And then coming across like other people's like reels, like, oh, you're struggling with that too. That's great. Cause like, you know, when I had Mina, I was like, I'm not struggling with anything. This is great. It's easy. It's perfect. Like there really wasn't anything that I really needed like help with, which was great, but also made me very ignorant to like the things that other people need help with, you know?
Yeah.
So then I had Alec and then I needed all of it.
Yeah.
All of the help. Like I said, real humbling. And like I said, like I came across your reels and I was like, oh man, this is so accurate, you know? And that's when I started following you because they would make me laugh, but also make me feel like I wasn't alone, you know? And I'm not making these reels, but other people are. And thank God, because like I could laugh at that when I was just crying about it earlier, you know? So I think that Instagram has a huge community of parenting things. If you need help, you can go look for that. I always just try to figure it out on my own first and then, you know, like then like look for the help. And for the most part, I feel like I have, but sometimes it's just nice to know that you're not alone feeling what you're feeling.
Totally.
Because a lot of people put this image of themselves on social media. Like, it's great. I'm not that person. It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great. And if it's not great, I'm going to tell you it's not great. Because why am I going to lie?
Oh, yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like, I was just telling somebody about this the other day. My sister's wedding. I posted the photo of like our family looking all cute and everything. But I had to put a caption. I was like, it was far too chaotic to not. And now I look at people's photos like that and I'm like, I wonder what was going on behind the scenes. You know, I'm like, we had blowouts. My kids weren't babies. They were sick. Like those kind of sick blowouts, you know?
Yeah.
All over the car. Like it was like a 5-hour drive.
No.
We get there. I got bit by a cat.
Oh my God.
Like right after we got there, I was like, oh, and I was like worried I was going to get infection.
Else. Yeah.
Then I burned her hair, my youngest, doing her hair.
Oh no.
And then somehow we made it through the wedding without any like 2 issues. But and I'm calling the pediatrician. I'm like, I burned her. I don't know what to do. Like we went through so many clothes. All the clothes that we brought within hours of arriving were just soiled.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and then we just go and take our photo. We're like,
happy family.
I'm like, that was a nightmare. Oh, and then on the way home, ended up being more like 6-7 hours, something like that. I threw up the entire time because I caught whatever they had, but in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
not fun. Not, especially when you're traveling, just not fun. I think that's why it's so important to talk about it too, because this is life and it is messy.
Yes.
Some people don't understand, and if you've watched my stories lately, I've commented on it, like, don't understand why I continue to talk about what I went through or why like constantly relive it or whatever. But it's like somebody out there is going to benefit. Somebody needs to know about this rare complication. And then other women are going through this postpartum stuff and they feel so alone and they need to know that they're not.
Yes.
Like I just recently had an old friend of mine. I forgot how I think I reached out, she reached out, something. And then she just opened up to me that she had a traumatic birth and this is what she's dealing with mentally. And she didn't even realize that what she went through was traumatic until somebody told her it was traumatic. And then the things that she was feeling, she was being told that it was normal postpartum stuff when it's not. And and a lot of it is because of things that I posted or things that I'm telling her now. And I'm like, don't ever like hesitate to reach out to me about that. Like sometimes people think that it's too much to reach out to me because I'm going through my own things, but like, I'd like a break from my own things. And like, if it's to help somebody out, it's not a problem for me. I know as well as anybody that communication is so important. And it's what's really got me through that. So I think that people sharing just like how chaotic their lives are, it's great because my life is chaotic too. And if anybody just went based off of a picture I post where I'm smiling, like you wouldn't know that. And then you're going to compare yourself to this unrealistic expectation. Like it's not true.
Right. 100%. So. Oh yeah. I am grateful that side of it is out there now because I mean, initially, even when I went through it like 5 years ago, I wasn't seeing anything. I'm like, I'm alone. You know, nobody else is going through this. And why is this so hard for me? You know, so putting it out there just can help so much.
Yeah. I now have this like little survivor community of my own. Yeah. Once I started putting my story out there and other women who have survived what I survived found me, because I always felt like I was circling the birth trauma world because like birth trauma is like this, right? It doesn't matter how you got there. We all share the same feelings. It's all the feelings are the same when you take away how it happened, but how it happened, I wasn't seeing. So like I could relate, but I can't relate all the way because like no one else had my complication. So that's why I started talking about it. And then other women found me. Was like, I went through this, or I just went through this in July, or I went through that 15 years ago. And I'm here to tell you that it's going to get better. And, you know, like something that I needed to hear. And then I'm saying things that other women needed to hear. So I actually have this very tiny, it's just a few women who survived and we talk back and forth. And so I'll post something and somebody will write like, yep, I totally feel that. I know exactly what you're saying. Like, I feel that. And I don't feel like there's anyone in my life or in any birth trauma forum that could say that, because you can understand how I'm feeling, but I don't know that you can understand the other things that I'm dealing with outside of that, like the constantly getting sick because I don't have a spleen, or being immunocompromised now, but being like, what? I'm not immunocompromised, but I am, so, it's nice to have that small community. But if I hadn't talked about it, I wouldn't know these people.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. There's the downside of social media, but
of course,
that part of it, freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a good parenting tip that you would want to share?
I would say that my tip is just not to listen to other people, because everyone's going to give you unsolicited advice. And in the end, what works for them may not work for you. I hate unsolicited advice. Definitely use your resources. You need help, reach out, ask somebody's opinion. But sometimes you just got to block out what people are saying, even in your own family, because everyone's going to think that they know because they have kids already, but they're not your kids. So like, I always say that, just like, you need to just find out who you are as a parent, what your parenting style is, and don't listen to what people have to say, because someone's always going to have something to say. How you're feeding your kid, if you're co-sleeping, why isn't your kid wearing a coat? Why, don't listen. Do your thing, focus on you, focus on your kid. Take some time for yourself, because we can get lost in being a mom. We can get lost in it. We are default parents, like, by nature. Yeah. And it is hard. And then don't feel guilty when you're taking that time away, because that's your mental health. Like, you need to separate and just reset. Whatever it is that you do to reset, find your thing, because you can't be the best version of you if you don't get time to yourself.
Took me way too long to figure that out.
I mean, it's hard now for me, because it's like, if I want to do something with Serge, I have to find a sitter, because Mina's not, at that age yet where she's like, I'll change his poopy diaper. She's like, ew. So it's like, again, I'd have to pay somebody to watch him to go out. So like, we really haven't, like, we need to like reconnect. But like, back at the gym, I'm going by myself. He goes by himself. Just because Alec, I need that. I needed to go back to the gym, and that's part of finding who I am again, but like going for a massage or whatever, like going to my girlfriend's house, going to hang out with my sister, just stuff like that. Just need to get away sometimes. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Don't feel guilty about it. It's fine.
Yeah, I love that. This concludes part 1 of 2 of Nicolette's episode, but here is a sneak peek of what's coming up next time.
After birth trauma, I feel like I'm in a constant state of fight or flight, and I'm like a helicopter. I was never a helicopter before. I have a lot of health anxiety surrounding Alec, and I'm always worried that something is happening. And it's like, is it because of what happened when he was born? And like, I always revert back to that, and he gets sick and I'm panicked, which I wasn't before.
Nicolette, thank you so much again for joining me on this.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And I'm going to link everything in the show notes of where people can find you. So, yay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye. All right, friends. If there was anything that resonated with you today, please go ahead and leave a comment below. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear about it. If you liked this episode, you're really going to like this one too. Check it out.